Let the complaints begin. What I've got here for the news, first thing right off the get-go is, what do we got here? Bad parking shows entitlements and ignorance on full display. So what I've got to do here, because this camera here from the studio is set and it does not autofocus. So what I'll do is I'll download some of these videos right after this, and I will upload it, and then you can see several pictures in a row of the bad parking that goes on around here. Residents complain about poor lighting at Chitty Chatty Bridge. Well, I don't know how all the bridges are, the newer ones that is, even the Brownwood Bridge. I never went across it at night, or any of the other bridges like Waterloo Bridge. I've never been across that one at night either, so I don't really know. I don't know what the lighting's like on these bridges. I do know that even if you go clear up to Spanish Springs and go over the very first golf cart bridge in America, built right there, other than the lighting that goes over the highway that kind of helps the bridge itself, I'm not real sure the bridge has special lighting just to light up the pathway on the bridge for the golf carts. I think that a lot of that is just dependent on your headlights. Questions continue to surround formation of PWAC 2 south of State Road 44. A resident of Community Development District 7 spoke out Thursday before the Board of Supervisors about her displeasure with the board's directions on its relationship with the project-wide advisory committee and changing legal counsel. Joan Brown of the village of Bonita said she and her husband moved to Florida's friendliest hometown in 2015. We are enthusiastic about the upkeep of the villages, she said. She said she has grown concerned about CDD 7's relationship with PWAC, which is made up of Community Development District south of County Road 466. The aim of the PWAC is to pool resources in an effort to avoid catastrophic risks. We strongly disagree with the decision to fire the previous legal counsel. Brown told the supervisor CDD 7 supervisors decided to end their relationship with previous counsel Bryants and Bryants after attorney Mark Bryants reported a conflict of interest when it comes to PWAC. He also represents the other CDDs which make up PWAC. Board recruited Tallahassee firm Hopping Green Sams, knowing that the move could be more costly. Board chairman Jerry Vincetti told Brown the supervisors had no other choice. He said it was Bryants, I don't know how to say these words, Brizonez, that revealed the conflict of interest. We were caught in the middle because we had a law firm that said that they can't represent us when it comes to this issue. Vincenti said, why would we pay a lawyer that can't represent 50% of our issues? I think he's got a good point. I think independent counsel for most people, for any reason, is necessary. Fence jumping grandchildren prompt petition in Villa community in Chitty Chatty. Isn't it amazing how these complaints pop up so quick in a brand new community? And the village has been around for a long time, and so people kind of know what happens here, what don't happen here, what the big complaints are, and what the happiness is and all this kind of thing. And yet these things pop up year after year after year in brand new communities. So the people can't claim dumb. They can't say, well, we didn't know. Yes, you did. I saw them right here in my neighborhood just the other day. There was two grandkids driving a golf cart around our neighborhood. The one driving the golf cart couldn't have been much older than 8 or 9 years old. I swear to you, could not have. Either that or I'm getting way too old. And there was a grandchild in the passenger seat, and there was two grandkids hanging on the back where the golf clubs would be normally strapped to the golf cart. There were two of them hanging on that, and I was just standing out in the garage and watching them. They were driving around in a circle around our neighborhood, not an adult anywhere. These are the things where people get hurt and things happen, and then everybody play dumb. Well, I didn't know. I didn't know you had to be 14.
Duh.
Repair work begins on damaged pipe that created sinkhole near postal station. That's generally what happens here with a lot of sinkholes that are cause of what they call a sinkhole. It's really not a sinkhole, but they call it a sinkhole. Is a pipe, a drain pipe or something will spring a leak where the pipes are connected together, that seal breaks or whatever. And then over a period of time, that water rushing out of there washes the sand away. Because remember, we're just sitting on sand here. We don't have any dirt, and it just washes the sand away. Well, after a period of time, you can imagine what happened. It just dropped. By the way, I've got a little bit of a hiccup here because this is getting close to May. And in case you guys don't know, May, I believe it's only the month of May, there's these great big round oranges. They're the size of grapefruit. I don't know what kind of oranges they are. I've seen all kinds of names on them. The last one I heard was ruby reds, but I guess other places may call them something else. Ruby red oranges. And when they're in season, my wife gets them for me because I can eat my fill of those things. They are so good, but be warned, they're so juicy, they're just messy. Know what I mean? Eisenhower Recreation Center and pool will be closed on Monday. The pool at the Eisenhower Rec Center is a sports pool. And there's a commentary here on Gabe, what's his name? Gabe Merkin. He's a doctor. He has a little thing he puts on here every about once a month, I think, on here, a little commentary. And this is about Gary Shandling's high blood calcium. And I went in for a calcium test, I think 2 years ago. I'd never heard of this test, never heard of it. And this was my third heart test that my doctor wanted to send me in for. And so I went in and I did it, because my wife nags me until I do. So okay, fine. The two words to keep a marriage together for 50 years, guys. Listen to me, you young guys, you millennials out there that think you know everything, but you really don't know anything. Here's the two magic words to keep a marriage together for 50 years for guys. Guys, remember this. Yes, dear. That's all you need to know. Then move on. But the calcium test is easy test, easy peasy, no big deal. It took to go in and do it. It's just more, it's not discomfort. There's no pain or anything like that. It's just more, it takes time out of your day. You got to go in like a half hour before maybe an hour. I forget now, but you go in before your actual scheduled time. You're sitting in there with other people sitting in there to do the same thing. And you got to go to their room, disrobe, put this robe on and blah, 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 blah. Then you go in and this little tube shoot and that thing goes around you. And then somehow it gives you these numbers, or they give you the numbers. I don't know. And it goes all the way up to, the numbers go way on up to like 5, 6, 7, 800, something like that. And the lower the number is, the less likely you are to have any kind of a heart episode in the next 10 years. That's the thing on it. Mine was a number 400, which is not good. And he told me that I had something like a 50% chance of having some kind of a heart episode within the next 10 years. It's not that surprised me. I've always had this cholesterol thing. Besides that, in 10 years, I'll be 80. I really won't care. Official contends aging pipes in the villages need to be replaced. Village's adult son arrested after allegedly attacking hospital ER staff. The village's hospital. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies were called to the hospital emergency room shortly before 2 a.m. Friday when 53-year-old John Richard Carlson became belligerent and was acting violent toward hospital staff. According to the arrest report, Carlson, who lives with his mother at 700 Sherwood Street in the village of Winifred, laid back on the bed and kicked a staffer 4 times in the chest. It took 5 staffers to sedate Carlson, who stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighs 250 pounds, to restrain him. The report said the Queens, New York native had been taken to the hospital under the Baker Act. The Baker Act is a Florida law that enables families and loved ones to provide emergency mental health services and temporary detention for people who are impaired because of their mental illness. Complaints from neighbors prompted a public hearing Friday concerning the condition of a home in the villages. The home is located at 1825 Sanibel Court in the village of Bel Air. A complaint received February 23rd by Community Standards about mold on the home, overgrown weeds, and broken lampposts. The complaint was verified following day. Complaints about the condition of the home also were aired in the March meeting before the Community Development District 3 Board of Supervisors when residents complained about another house in the same neighborhood. The owner of 1825 Sanibel Court called community centers and indicated power washing had been scheduled. However, when the crew showed up, they found the water to the home to be cut off. Staff has tried to contact the homeowner, but messages and correspondence have not been acknowledged. The home was purchased by Daniel Terry Sr. in 2005-2013. The property was transferred to Donald Terry Jr. and Roseanne Terry. The property tax bill is mailed to their home in Deltona. In Friday's hearing, a neighbor complained that the shrubs behind the house are about as tall as the home. The board agreed to give the homeowner 3 days to bring the property into compliance. If the property is not brought into compliance, the homeowner will face a series of fines. The district will arrange to have the lawn cut twice a month in the summer and once a month in the winter. And you will pay because it will be on your tax bill. Listen, if you can't afford to keep this house in good order, whether you live here or don't live here, that's the deed compliance. You have to do that. And I'm just trying to keep people from having these issues later on down the road with the thing of, oh, I didn't know. Well, you need to know. You are responsible for keeping your house in a certain neat and clean, orderly fashion. It'll be in your deed restrictions there. Bushes trimmed, trees trimmed, grass mowed. Your lawn and driveway in the front has to be edged. 12 more local COVID-19 deaths as virus continues to plague a village's charter school. See, it makes it sound like this is what I'm talking about these news reports when I mentioned it during the letter to the editors thing. Whatever I did. 12 more COVID-19 deaths as virus continues to plague village's charter school. Makes it sound like there's in the village's charter school, 19 people died, right? No, 12 more people died. And I guarantee you that's not what happened. Here you go, girls. Here's the future son-in-law for that unmarried daughter of yours. Oh, I'm going to have to... That's right. I'm going to have to put a picture of this dude right in this area right here. A villager was arrested after allegedly pointing a gun at his neighbor who had been traveling in a golf cart near their neighborhood. Carl Joseph Ianozo, 65, is accused of pointing a Ruger 380 caliber LCP at the chest and stomach of his neighbor from the Rhett Villas in the village of Monarch Grove at about 9 a.m. Sunday, according to the arrest report from the Wildwood police. Wow. Brand new neighborhood, Monarch Grove. How old is that neighborhood? Maybe a year? Maybe? I don't know. Something like that. Already we got Looney Tune wacko doogies down there pointing guns at people in a golf cart. County to make concession to churches at congested intersection on 466. There's a golf cart tunnel right there by that church. They kind of got, really, when villages start to expand, it ain't like they pick on one place or another, but if they don't sell the property, which they have the right not to sell it, especially churches, you know, they've been there for years and people go there on a regular basis. So the church don't want to close down and move. So they build things around the church. And next thing you know, the church almost, not quite, but almost gets kind of landlocked. Now they have to find a way to get in and make an entrance to the parking lot or whatever to the church. And it gets kind of, especially at that gate right there, because that's where the entrance is to this church, is just past this village's gate. Sometimes that gate, it's on Morris Boulevard there, and I worked at that gate. It's a hectic mess. That whole gate needs to be totally redone as far as I'm concerned, especially during early morning traffic. People are trying to go to work and go home. But people's got to get in line to go through that gate to get to the church's parking lot. And you know, the village has created that mess. Lightning strike takes out water main in village of Tamarind Grove. Villager will lose driver's license as a result of golf cart DUI arrest at the village of Linden. There's another brand new village, and already people are getting picked up for being drunk in a golf cart. They come down here and they seem to think this is like Disney World or something, or Las Vegas, where once you're inside the gate, if I'm in a golf cart, I can drink. I can do whatever I want in the golf cart. I'm not driving a car. Well, that's not true. And if they take your license or suspend them in a DUI, guess what? You're not allowed to even drive that golf cart anymore. So beware. Well, I don't know why I'm going to have to put a picture of this one up there when I get there. Riverbend Recreation Center family pool will be closed on Wednesday. Villager sentenced in DUI arrest last year at Lakeside Landings in Oxford. Former Village's resident jailed after violating probation in Michigan. Repair work begins on damaged pipe that created sinkhole near postal station. A defective pipe has been replaced at residents' expense near the Village of Summerhill postal station and swimming pool. The pipe failed this past November and created a large sinkhole between Woodridge Drive and the drainage pond. Crews begin replacing the pipe on Monday. The repair work is expected to continue through April 23rd. Gas station and convenience store coming to Magnolia Plaza. I kind of reported on that like 2 or 3 months ago. But it's coming. It's slow but sure, but it's getting there. Eyebrows raised as new contractor turns in low bid for resurfacing sports courts. The Amenity Authority Committee and Project-Wide Advisory Committee have turned to a new contractor for resurfacing at sports courts in the villages. Wildwood Selective Enforcement Unit arrests man in village of Chitty Chatty. Isn't it amazing how all these things happen in brand new areas? It don't take them long to come down here and then just get in trouble. Wildwood Police Department Selective Enforcement Unit arrests a man Friday night in the village of Chitty Chatty. Officers arrived at 8:42 p.m. at 4836 John Kramer Circle in the Julia Villas in the village of Chitty Chatty, where they found 42-year-old Jeffrey Michael Stewart, who was wanted on Sumter County warrant seeking to revoke his bond from a February 3rd drug arrest in Wildwood. The officer spotted Stewart in the home's garage. When the Colorado Springs, Colorado native saw the police officer, he ran into the home and slammed the door, according to the arrest report. An officer forcefully entered the residence and Stewart was taken into custody. While an officer was patting down Stewart, he leaned against the patrol car and intentionally broke the bulbous end of a methamphetamine pipe he had in his pockets. Stewart, who has been arrested in March in a theft case at Shooter's World in the Villages, was arrested on charges of attempting to destroy evidence and resisting arrest. He was taken into custody and booked without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. Dudley Canine Park will be closed Thursday morning. Sheriff's deputies arrest a man at Brownwood Hotel and Spa in the Villages. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies arrest a man Friday afternoon at the Brownwood Hotel Spa in the Villages. Deputies arrive at 3:30 p.m. at the hotel, where they positively identified 58-year-old Manuel Chavez of Coleman, who was arrested on a Sumter County warrant charging him with driving under the influence. The South Bend, Indiana native was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. He was released after posting a $1,000 bond. A Village of Silver Lake woman was arrested for allegedly fleeing law enforcement while driving a Jeep in rural Lake County. Justine Rose Keene, 28, who lives at 739 Royal Palm Avenue, was at the wheel of a silver Jeep at about 10:30 p.m. Friday in the vicinity of Gray's Airport Road and Eagles Nest Road when a Lake County Sheriff's deputy noticed a problem with one of the vehicle's brake lights. There also was a plastic border covering the name of the state on the license plate. It's amazing to me is how little details like that on people's cars, they don't really notice it, they don't pay no attention to it, but those little details is the reason a police officer will pull them over, and then it leads to other things. And I would have thought that if you're a very smart crook, that you would make sure your taillights work, make sure your headlights are on at night, and make sure they're not on bright driving down the road. But these are the little things that the cops notice, and these are the little things that leads to other things. Good thing most crooks and things aren't very smart. Real quick, let me interject here. I've been following the Village's lawsuit. By the way, I've got the gate turned up, but if you listen, somebody mowing grass across the street, and I'm trying to cut the noise out. The Villages is suing the town of Lady Lake over the rejection of a plan for apartments at Spanish Springs Town Square. The Villages of Lake Sumter Incorporated and the Villages Operating Company filed the lawsuit last week in the 5th Judicial Circuit in Lake County. The lawsuit was filed as a result of February 17th Lady Lake Commission meeting in which commissioners voted 3-2 to turn down the plan. For up up to 45 apartments to be located on the second floor of the buildings at the square. The Villages has indicated it would like to start with 7 apartments at the former home of Katie Bells, the Villagers' only club famous for dining, drinking, and dancing. It was shut down a year ago. The lawsuit hardly comes as a surprise, as it has hinted during the commission meetings. Tallahassee consultant Darren Taylor, who has long represented the Villages, testified February 17th before the commission and offered his expert opinion. When you analyze your comprehensive plan, this amendment is clearly consistent with your requirements. When you look at your land development regulations, this amendment is clearly consistent with your standards. Commissioners follow up with questions, including Commissioner James Wrights, who raised the issue of parking, which has been a long time problem at the square. It suggests that someone from Tallahassee might not be familiar with nightly entertainment, market night at the square, and shows at the Sharon L. Morris Performing Arts Center, all of which contribute to congestion at the square. That concern was dismissed as personal opinion in the Village's lawsuit. Apparently, the commission had not heard or did not grasp Mr. Taylor's testimony that the parking for the subject buildings had already been developed in greater quantity than the proposed multifamily would require. He argued in the lawsuit that Reitz and Commissioner Dan Vincent simply expressed their ultimately unfounded personal concerns as to whether granting the application would adversely affect available parking in the town center. Ultimately, Reitz and Vincent were joined by Commissioner Paul Hannon in voting against the apartments. Mayor Ruth Cussard and Commissioner Tony Holden voted in favor of the Village's request. The Villages is seeking determination by the court that would prevent the town from standing in the way of the planned apartments. Okay, I think that's all. I'll have to edit this and download pictures and everything else for you. So hopefully it'll be okay. Hopefully you enjoy the news. And so with that being said, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see all of you on the other side.